You ready? Okay, everyone. I'm starting the meeting of Town of Lake Santeetlah, June 8th, 2023. I'm guessing it's 5:30 p.m.
Yep.
Thank you. All right, so I'd like to call the meeting to order. We have roll call. We have Ralph, welcome.
Tina.
Connie,
Diana.
Jim.
Kayla, and Kim are at the meeting. Could we have the invocation, please?
Yeah, sure.
Everybody want to stand? Bow your heads.
No, stay seated, no problem, stay seated. Dear Father God, we pray, Proverbs 11:14 states, where no counsel is, the people fall, but in a multiple of counselors, there is safety. Another version said it this way, without good direction, people lose their way. The more wise counsel you follow, the better your chances. Lord God, we pray for your guidance and counsel. Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Ready? Ralph's going to lead us in that.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, I'm going to ask for the approval of the agenda, but I do want to make one quick addition. Under a discussion on number 4, I'd like to have a little discussion about having TPOA get a key to come in, because it's not there yet. That's why I want to add, I want to put number 4, a discussion item, to have TPOA sign out a key to the building so that they can use it for their meetings, and then they'll just bring it back at the end of the season, and we will have, Betty will have the only key, and we'll know, you know. Does that work for you?
I think it's the same as my fault.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that, but yeah. All right, so I want to add that to number 4.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so can I get an approval for the agenda?
So moved.
Thank you. Can we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Everyone approved, say aye. Aye. Thank you. Okay, the approval of the May 4th, 2023 council meeting minutes. Have you had a chance to review them? Yes, yeah. Can I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I approve.
I second.
Everybody aye?
Discussion
Discussion? Yes, sir. Go ahead.
on when we came out of closed session, I made the
Well, we weren't doing closed session minutes yet. It's next.
recommendation to Kayla,
Okay.
and there was no discussion about working from home in my motion. That's the only change.
That's in the closed session minutes.
Yeah, we haven't gotten there yet.
That's not an open, that's not in council meeting minutes.
When we came out of closed session, we went back into open session.
Yeah, but that's the motion that you made in the regular council meeting is different from what is in the closed session council meeting.
Which one do we need to change?
Closed session.
Okay.
Haven't gotten there yet. It's next. Okay.
I'll approve it then.
Then the next thing on the list would be the approval of the May 4th, 2023 closed session meeting minutes, and
You
that's
want-
when Jim
you
wanted the
your-
correction.
Yeah.
Your motion to be the same as what's typed in the council meeting.
Okay. With that change, I'll vote to approve.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Ralph. All approve? Aye. Very good.
Could we also make a motion to open those closed session meeting minutes?
Yeah, do we have a problem with that, people?
No.
Okay. You want to make the motion?
I make a motion that we open the closed session meeting minutes for the public if anyone wanted to read them.
And I'll second that motion. All approve?
Aye.
Aye. Discussion? No? Okay, thank you. Should discuss before we approve. Okay, next thing would be the presentation of the financial and tax report. Kim, would you like to offer us that, please?
The taxes was $237.76 for last month. I hope everyone had a chance to look over the new reports that came out of the Edmunds software. And I'm working to try to clean all that up this month. Y'all see a budget amendment in your packet as well. So they look a little different, but everything's together. Everything prints out on one so, or not sheets.
Page. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice, it's precise, it's clear, you can read across the line, your numbers line up, it's wonderful.
There's a couple of chart of account numbers, the numbers on the left that we're still working to get.
Yeah, that's what these numbers on the side are. This is the program, what they're gonna do is assign a number to every person or
Yeah.
product or whatever's purchased, and that's what those numbers will coincide with that.
I probably should have printed out another one because we have gone back yesterday. I worked with Eric and cleaned up part of that. So added some added some GLs and moved some things around that didn't have anything in them, like the front entrance. I got that moved. The truck gas was $50 that was in an account that was just hanging there. So I am cleaning that up.
Okay.
Tina and I both found some things that we had to correct.
It was because of the conversion.
Exactly.
So when we converted, there were some things that were just hanging. And because of the splits, admins had to realize what was a split and what was actually separate for each account. So it was kind of a learning process for them and then also for us. But that's getting cleaned up. And it will be all clean before we close for the end of the year.
Which is June 30th, so it's right around the corner. Okay, very good. Are you happy with this, the way the report's printed up? Were you able,
Yeah, I
successful?
thought
This
they were,
looks good.
I thought they're different from QuickBooks. We're definitely having to get used to how they look, but I think they're good. It shows, if you write a check, like for this month, it has something like a pending line
Yeah.
for the month of. It shows that, there is something that's gonna hit the budget. And then it shows the budget amount, the percentage that's used, and the amount that's still available. Yeah.
Excellent.
So it gives more information on what we're getting on QuickBooks.
Perfect, thank you. Is there any more financial business we need to take care of? You got something else?
I just got budget amendment when we get to that.
Okay. How about
That's later.
finance officer? Do you have something to add to the financial tax report?
No, not to the tax report, just
Okay.
that we're working on cleaning this up. The training for the water system is next week, so the office will be closed a couple of hours. One day, a couple hours another day, and then all day, I believe on Wednesday, for utility payroll training.
Okay, good.
So, and then they'll pull the bills on the 26th or 27th. And then, sorry. Then they'll pull the bills, and then we'll be going live in July with the new utility billing.
Okay, thank you. Can everyone hear us on Zoom? I want to make sure that everybody can hear us on Zoom. Okay, thank you.
Can you hear from Mike too?
Yes.
Okay.
Not that well.
Yeah, not that well.
If folks could speak into, I can't tell if you've got microphones or not, but
Yeah,
if
we
you
do.
do, if you could, Molly.
Hello? Hello?
Just bring it a little closer to me.
Hello?
Is it working? Or are you picking up on this?
Is this working?
Yes, that's better. It's just if you speak slowly and articulate.
Might be difficult.
Okay, all right. So
Understood, but we appreciate it here on
I'll make every
Zoom.
effort. Okay, let's move on, please. Request for public comment. There was a sign-in sheet, and if anybody wants to make public comment on Zoom, put your hand up, or, do your little thing on there, and we'll let you speak.
Anybody on Zoom? Betty?
Okay. I'd like to announce the TPOA meeting Monday night, 7 p.m. here. We're going to have like reintroduce ourselves to everybody and tell something about ourselves. So it's a good way to get known and have people associate your face and your name. So anyway, Monday night, please remember we need people on Zoom and people in the house. Announce, it's my word. Litter pickup will be Tuesday, the next day after the meeting. at June 13th, and we're meeting here at 9 a.m. and wear scruffy clothes, and we get really spiffy orange vests to put on. Can't watch her. And we have these little tongs to pick up all kinds of stuff. But this is our way to keep our community clean. I'd like to commend the council for completing projects started by preceding councils instead of just dropping them and initiating items of their own. And I want to thank you for putting the town first, and your community first. I have a question regarding the status of the problem with water during electric outages for property owners on top of the mountain. And I'd like to know what progress has been done. Because in case of an emergency, that's a real problem, and it does need to be addressed. And that's all I have for now. Thank you.
Jack?
At last month's meeting, and this has a little bit to do with item 2 in real business, there was an attempt to appoint alternates to the planning board. And I just wanted, there were statements made that people made that said, we don't need alternates, we don't have anything going on, blah-de-da-de-da-de. Anyways, if we would have had an alternate appointed, the variance date would not have been needed to change, and we would not have had to spend additional advertising money for this variance. So we do need alternates, and hopefully they'll be placed there today. Thank you.
Does anyone else in the audience have public comment to say? How about on Zoom? Would anybody like to speak? Okay. Well, yes, sir. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I noticed Ralph is back today.
Yes.
I haven't seen you as a citizen of Santeetlah. We've had no communication with you. We don't know whether you're well or ill, or what condition you're in, and I'm wondering how effective you can be representing our needs here at the town with your current condition. I noticed that we can't get you online because you don't have a computer or don't do computer, and I noticed that when it comes to the planning meetings and budget meetings and what have you, did not attend. So I'm kind of wondering what activities you've been doing as a representative of the council for the town people of Lake Santeetlah.
This isn't a question and answer. Did you ask a question? It's not question and answer time.
I
It's
thought the
public
question was, what has he been up to?
But there is no question and answer, period. It's a comment time. So make your comment and then we go on, please.
So you're concerned about it.
Is that your
I'm
comment?
concerned about it. How's
Okay,
that?
thank you for your concerns. You're allowed to be concerned.
All right, thank you.
Let's
I hope
move
that was
on.
loud
Any
enough
more
for
public
everybody.
comments on Zoom?
Sorry. Easy to fix.
I just want to add, you hear me?
Yes, sir. Well, say your name, please, and that was Kevin Hay, in case you're taking notes.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
Yeah.
for Kayla's back.
That was an inappropriate question from Kevin. Santeetlah is a mostly seasonal community, and many people have served on the council throughout the years that were not present during a portion of the year. And I think it's quite inappropriate for him to bring that up. He is a neighbor of mine, Ralph, that is, and he's a proud man and a decent man, and if I have to defend him, I will. This is one of the problems. I wasn't going to say anything. This is one of the problems with that town, and it's causing me great distress. What's happened there? The politicization of that town, where it never was like that before, has exercised me to get so involved. Anyway, I don't appreciate the Kevin's tone towards a friend of mine and a neighbor of mine, especially somebody that's been in that town and been such an important part of it for so many decades. That's enough. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is he allowed to comment on my comment, or can I
He's
comment?
allowed to say whatever
Can I
you
comment?
like, just like you were allowed to say whatever
Can I
you
comment
like. And
back
now,
to his
no,
comment?
please, Kevin, behave. Yes, sir, would you like a comment?
Well, I can understand why you wouldn't recognize Kevin a second time, because that is your policy. But having said that, I think the concern that Kevin expressed was not about Ralph as a person.
No.
It was about having a full council all year long. And I think Ralph's a fine person, and I'm glad he's a member of the community, and I'm glad I know him. But it is something that is, it should be of concern to everybody up at that table and in the whole community, that when you have 4 members that do come, you could have a tie, you could have the politicization that you do have, which has nothing to do with Ralph, by the way. And I think to allow someone who wants to criticize a public comment to do so is really not the purpose of public comment. People can express whatever they want. And whether they put the comment in the form of a question or not is, to me, unimportant. As long as the underlying point is considered by all of you that you need 5 members, fully functional, 12 months. And let's face it, to correct one thing that was said a moment ago, you can't vote if you're not here. You could during COVID, obvious reasons why that was, but now that that emergency is over, you cannot vote. And that's why, amongst other reasons, it is important. Again, nothing to do with criticizing Ralph, just fine guy. And it is kind of an honor to have the oldest council member in the state of North Carolina here. Glad you're back, Ralph. But let's be clear, you need a full council every meeting if possible.
Thank you for your comments. Do you have one more comment?
Yeah.
And
He
then
already
we'll
had
move
a
on.
comment, and you didn't allow a second comment.
He didn't,
He had a comment.
No, he was going against him. I'm
he
making
wanted
a
to talk to
comment.
him, he didn't want to talk to
He
us.
wanted to go
I'm
against.
sorry.
I'm not letting this happen. Leave it. Speak.
You know, my comment is, I believe to date, Ralph has not missed any more meetings than other people sitting at the table.
Not true.
It's true. It's not.
It's true.
It's true.
It is not true.
Not possible.
Okay, can we move on, please?
I have a public comment.
Yes, please.
If that's okay. And this is to the point of Kevin and to you, Roger. Back in this early spring, Ralph requested a leave of absence. It was brought to the table twice. We would have had, if we had given the leave of absence, it would have been possible to try and get a temporary person so that we would have had a 5-member council. That was denied. That's not Ralph's fault. And so going back to that, we tried to have a 5-member council. Ralph is.
Excuse.
I offered to have a special call meeting
Yeah, I know.
for that purpose, and
It was
We
2 months too
brought it
late.
to- we
It
brought
was
it
already, he was
twice.
already coming back, so.
No.
He wouldn't.
no.
He was already making plans to come back, so there was no.
Yeah,
reason.
and that was like 3 months ago.
Is that like making plans to register to vote?
He's already registered to vote.
All right, let's go on with the meeting, please.
One question. How do I get in contact with my representative?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Ralph, how do I get in contact with
You
him?
can go through Kim, thank you. The next thing, old business, let's start with number 1, the approval of the 2023-2024 budget, approval of the budget ordinance, budget for capital reserve. We need action on that. The budget has been presented. I'm going to let Tina, our finance officer, take it from here on this.
Okay. The county, as far as we know, has not updated us with the final assessed value. So the amount that they gave us in early June, end of May, I guess that was for our meeting, was the amount that we have, which is the $131 million. So that is the millage. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
$131,291,180. That is the amount that we're going with the assessed value. That's the amount that we have been given lastly by the county. That would put us at a millage rate of .00209. which is a decrease from .00296 the year before. The assessed value went up from $84,860,000 to $131,291. So it was a huge increase by the county. As far as, I don't think that there were any, or hardly, there were a few changes.
Yeah, I think everybody,
Did you get the
everybody a
change?
copy of that.
Is it a separate paper for the changes? This here, update a little?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yes, okay.
You should have two.
Yeah, so if you attended the budget hearing, we went line by line, so I'm not going to do that today. But the things that I updated was, at the very top of the old one, it was a header, so it was a technicality. It said worksheet for 2020, 2021. I took the header out to make this a little cleaner. The water fund reduced the consumption from 20,000 down to 18,000. This you'll also see in the budget amendment for this year. When we did the water consumption last year, we based it on the actual from the year before, not thinking that there were probably more people here during COVID. And so the water consumption was down for this year. So in our future budget, we're also taking it down to become more in line with actual water consumption. We're not changing the rates, we're just taking down the dollar amount. We would change the revenue by 2,000 and the reserves by 2,000. The general fund, we changed the explanation at the beginning to add the 131 million. On the water fund, we removed $3,200 for water meter readers that I had wanted to put into a reserve fund for the future because we had to lower the consumption amount, we had to take out some expense. So by taking out the water meter readers for the future, that helped us balance the budget. We also took out 1,000 in other capital improvements to balance the budget. And then I updated the general fund to transfer to reserves to balance the budget.
Okay.
Those were the changes.
And I believe a lot of these are on separate papers. We have to vote on each one.
This is the capital reserve fund.
Right, and that's on the agenda to vote.
That's on the agenda to vote on
Okay.
it also, and it's also part of the main general fund.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the next
Discussion?
Need to have a motion first. and then-
I make a motion that we approve the budget agenda, the budget ordinance, and the budget for the capital reserve road fund.
Okay, we need to get a second, then we'll jump into discussion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Okay, discussion?
Discussion, yeah. I have just a couple comments about the salary and benefits package. When you look at the total amount, it's about a 13.5% increase over the previous year. And there's a piece of paper there that I gave each of y'all that you can look at. And I wanted to ask Tina, in coming up with this budget, did you do any comparison with other towns in terms of what the salary range is?
I did.
Who did you contact?
If you look under the League of Municipalities, they have done a survey of small towns with population less than $50,000 and 50,000 people. Sorry. And in the survey, which I did not print out, I could have, it went from a 0% increase in pay to 28% increase. There were huge discrepancies in the amounts.
Yeah, but you're looking at statewide figures. This is the most rural part of western North Carolina. And, did you check with Bryson City or the city of Robbinsville or Hayesville or any of those towns?
They would have been, if they had answered the survey from the municipalities, they would have been there because of the population. What I looked at as far as the salary increase was Kim and Scott had not gotten an increase in the last 3 years, I believe it was. And the Social Security increase for last year was 8.7%.
Right.
The year before that was 5.9%, and the year before that was 1.3%. That is a 15.9% increase. That's the cost of living increase from the last 3 years. And they got nothing. So basically, they got less than anyone else that was getting a cost of living. So I did it by the 3%. Social Security is projected to increase by another 3% this year, beginning in January, which is halfway through our year. That would bring it up to a 19% cost of living that everyone else is getting, and they would still be getting 0. So I figured based on the Social Security indexes, the inflation that's happened, I went with a flat 10%, and that would bring,
On only payroll?
no, because you have to take.
There's a lot of things here.
I
Back to more than 10.
Right, I can tell you. So I took payroll up 10%, which we talked about at the budget hearing, from 105,000 to 115,000. That's a 10% increase. The taxes I took up also by 10% exactly. And then retirement is based on their salary, so that's a 10% increase. And then if you look at the payroll services, which is not on Jim's paper, but payroll services actually decreased by $2,000. Went from $4,800 to $2,800. The workman's comp stayed exactly the same. The employee bonus I did not increase, that stayed exactly the same. And then the health insurance I did increase, that's a $2,900 increase. And the reason that's such a big increase is I didn't think that it was fair that Scott and Kim were not getting the same allowance as far as health insurance. Scott was getting $500, and that's what he's been getting since the time he started. And Kim was getting $650 probably for a long time. I don't know how long. And we all know that medical insurance has gone up, the cost has gone up. So that increases them both to $700. And I checked with the League of Municipalities for health insurance, and if we were to insure them through the League of Municipalities, it would be almost $1,100 a month. So we're saving $400 per employee a month by not going through the League of Municipalities and letting them get their insurance through their spouse or through the open web, however it is that you get insurance. And that seems like an amount that probably still does not cover their insurance completely. Especially Scott has, lots of kids that he's taking care of. So that was an increase. But as far as payroll and payroll taxes, that is a straight up 10%. And that would bring, Kim's making about $42,000, that would bring her up to about $46,200. Scott's making $18 an hour, a 10% increase would give him $1.80, so I rounded it up to $20 an hour. So he would be making $41,600. And Kayla, we hired at $15 an hour, I believe, and that would bring her up to $16.50 an hour, which is a 10% increase.
One more comment on the water fund. We have $136 projected going to reserves. Is that right?
The water fund is very, very tight.
Well, I know.
I'm curious as to why you changed it from the 70-30 to an 80-20 when that is now dropping the amount for the water fund.
It doesn't, it helps the water fund.
Yeah, it does have.
It helps the water fund.
But,
The general fund carries more by changing it. Also, by changing the water fund to 80-20, it really will be more in line with the amount of time and money that should be spent on the water, because with the new Edmunds system, it will be much easier. Kayla won't have to do like 3 processes of bills, so it's going to be much shorter to do. So really the water fund is supposed to be, any expenses are supposed to be actual expenses. So by taking it down from 30% down to 20%, it saves money in the water fund. But we're still hoping, and in the budget I have money for the pressure tanks, which the $6,000 for the pressure tanks is a step towards the, hoping that that will help with the top of the mountain issue, so that if the pressure tanks are working properly, that there would always be water flowing through, and hopefully that will help with the top of the mountain problem. So we're taking the top of the mountain problem step by step by step.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, so, and then the other is the pump house needs new roofs, that's $4,000. So $10,000 is for capital outlay, which is a continuation of improving things that are broken or that need to be repaired. So that's why there's only, we're hoping that the actual water consumption will come in higher. So we dropped it down to 18,000, just to make sure that we're not in the negative at the end of the year. So if we end up getting a little more consumption, then that will help the bottom line. And even this year, we have more money in the water fund at the end of the year than we had in the water fund at the end of last fiscal year. Did I answer your question?
Last comment I have is the capital reserve fund. You're projecting 15% of the ad valorem tax.
Yes.
Why wouldn't it be 15% of all revenue? Because a third of our revenue comes from other sources other than ad valorem.
When we passed the resolution to do the capital fund, we said 15% of ad valorem tax. That's what we put in.
We could change that.
We could change it. We would just have to do an
I mean,
amendment.
29,000 for the paving is a drop in the bucket.
That's, this current year is 29,000.
I
The
know.
future year is 39,000.
In 10 years, that would be 290,000.
Well, we have if you look at the capital reserve, we have 29,000 from last year, and then we'll have 39,000 for this year. So we'll have, at the end of the projected 2024 year, if we don't spend any for paving, we'll have 68,000. So if you were to take 35,000, depending on how much our ad valorem tax is for 10 years, that would be $350,000 if we didn't spend any of it in the meantime.
Yeah. In my opinion, it's still not enough money.
It's not, but it's a start, and I think that's what we're hoping to get, is just to have a start. I mean, I can't imagine what the price would be to pave all of Black Bear or all of Thunderbird. And so by starting the Capital Reserve Road Fund, it was really a savings account to get us started and to have the money there in the future. So.
Okay, Jim, are you satisfied?
Yeah. I'm not satisfied.
Is there any more comments? Okay.
End of my question.
Thank you, that works. So we have a motion, we have discussion, the motion was second. Do you have discussion?
Discussion, yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to know about the library.
Okay. By the way, we have Franklin Shook is on the Zoom call to join us. Franklin, hi. Thank you. Sorry we kept you waiting. This is Franklin Shook. He is the director for the Nantahala Regional Library. Hello, sir. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Hello, how are you all
Thank
today?
Okay, Diane, did you want to ask him a question?
Well, I had just wondered in that, we have down here $2,400, but it's not really explained as to how that is used. Other than it's going towards, to keep the library open on Mondays, but that's not the actual cost to keep the library open on Mondays.
Yeah, certainly. So, we're happy to, first off, we're really happy that you're willing to support the library. We really do appreciate it. We've worked really hard to try to keep Grand County Public Library open on Mondays, and that money coming to us kind of shares with money we also put toward it. So we can only have two staff, we have to have two staff members to keep the library open, and your funding goes to one of those staff members. So back when it was, or this last year with the 1,200, we funded a 4-hour employee at $8 an hour. If you all decide to increase that to 2,400, which is great, then we would certainly continue to put it toward that staff member. Any additional monies would go either directly to books or some other program that you would like focus on. So we're very happy to do that. Another thing to mention is the employee that we're paying her at $8 an hour. And all of my other part-time employees are paid at $10 an hour. So that would be something I would like to consider. And I'm certainly open to anything or suggestions or discussions you would like to have with me. But we're just thrilled that you're willing to contribute and to support the library.
Okay, I'd like to see more classes at the library. In that, a lot of the classes have been dropped. So I would like to see that increased. And it would be nice to have that hourly person increase to $10 an hour. So
Okay, for the hourly person to increase to $10 an hour, I did the math on that. With the salary and the FICA, that's a little over $2,000, so $2,067, somewhere around there. And I really do appreciate your generosity there. And if you would like to go for the money to go toward programs, then what I'll do is we'll set a separate budget item for programming, and then Mary can certainly use that to create classes or do that sort of thing. We've had a couple of really successful grants over there over the years, and those are probably a lot of those classes you're referring to. We had a lot of craft classes. We still have the mountain music and the sewing groups that come, and we also have another grant that focuses on basket weaving. So we have a lot of basket weaving classes that are happening at the library. So we're trying to continue to ramp up the program as much as we can, but we're always open to suggestions. And just another little plug that I wanted to share with you all is I am always highly excited to hear any feedback from you all. If you have anything you'd like to see in the library, like if there's a particular book that you like to read and you'd like for us to order it and have it for your citizens, we would love to be able to showcase that for you. So anytime you want to work with us and collaborate, we're very welcome. Very open.
Thank you, Franklin, for that. Okay, so is there any more discussion about the library?
No, not about the library. I object to the mayor's meeting fee. I think that your fee should be dropped the same as everybody else's.
I offered to do that. Let's throw it to the finance officer. Did I come to you and say, when I saw the new budget come out, I contacted Tina, I said, lower mine.
Did she ask me?
Did she ask you what?
If we wanted.
I don't know. Did she ask you?
No,
It's not up to me
she
to
did
do
not
that.
ask. But she mentioned that you were the face of the town, and that is not true.
Okay.
I feel like the mayor is the face of the town. I know
That's
that
your
Connie-
feeling?
Yes, that's what I said. I feel as though that Connie is. I feel that the mayor is. I think Connie's done a great job. When Jim, and I said this at the budget meeting, when Jim was the mayor, I felt as though he was the face of the town. He had meetings with people. He was here every day. He was checking on things. Connie does the same thing. And I know that Connie has spent hundreds and hundreds of her own money. The trunk or treat was that. It was a lot of money that she spent on her own and didn't ask for any money back. And actually, I wanted to drop ours down to $1. So I kept it at 50. If you want me to drop it down to $1 to make up, I will. I really think that this is a volunteer job
I
for
just
us.
felt that this should be even. If you're dropping everybody else's down, that.
I offered, but then I think somebody on the Zoom from the last meeting made a comment that if I did that, I'd look like I was grandstanding or something, so I don't know, which one do you want?
No, I did not hear that comment.
That was Mr. Penny.
That's false.
Somebody said that. So, whatever. I really don't mind me dropping the money.
Towards something else.
The money
Since
could
we're
go to
so
the
tight.
library. That would increase the library budget if you want to. So, what are we gonna do, guys? It's up to you. You tell me.
Right now, I have kudzu crossing the street at Black Bear and Thunderbird. And last year, I requested $200 in the budget for kudzu, but you wouldn't give that to us.
That was.
But right now, the kudzu, if it gets loose in the forest up the hill, that's going to be a mess.
Is it on town property?
It is on town.
It is on town property? I'll have Scott take a look at that.
But it's on the neighbor property as well.
Well, we can't go on a person's property and take it. tell you that's.
Well, it's halfway across the street.
Yeah. And we have money and supplies, we have beautification that the kudzu can come out of. We have
It's
public.
just those little expenses.
Okay, can we move on then? Is there anything else you wanted to bring up about the budget that you wanted to discuss? No? Okay, thank you. Have you seen the budget, Ralph?
Ralph, have you
So
read
Ralph,
the budget?
yes, he has, I'm sure
Are
about
you good
it.
with the
You're
budget?
sure of it?
Are you
He
good
asked
with
a
the budget?
question, you seem to know more.
Are you good with the budget? Yeah, he's good with the budget.
Thank you. Okay, can we have a vote on the budget, please? We had a vote, we got second, we had our discussion. The vote. I vote yes, we passed the budget.
I vote yes.
Yes.
No.
No. 3-2. It passes. Thank you. Okay, let's move on. We're going next to the planning board. The council will appoint 2 new alternate board members, action needed. This has been going on for several months. I make a motion that we appoint Jack Gross as one of the alternates, and I'll do it separately. And then I'd like to make a motion for someone else to be appointed. Should we separate it?
I'd like to make a motion for Ralph Strong. He is still showing his interest.
Okay,
But we already have a motion on the table.
right. So I make a motion, we vote Jack Gross in for one of the alternate planning position openings.
I agree.
8 seconds.
Second? We have a vote? Aye.
Discussion for
Discussion? Thank you.
It's ludicrous to appoint someone to the planning board who is openly and for 3 years or longer has opposed every effort by the planning board to create the zoning ordinance. So that's my comment.
Okay. Any more comments? Any more discussion from the board?
Jim, you only want someone who thinks the same as the other board members?
That's it.
Do you only want someone who thinks the same as the other board members?
No,
You don't
but
want
I
any
think we
opposing?
should appoint people that support the town. Y'all scheduled a hearing on doing away with the ordinance, and you had overwhelming support to keep the zoning as it was. So that's my comment.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion, it's been second, let's have a vote. Aye? Vote yes?
No.
No.
So we have 3-2. Welcome, Jack.
Thank you, Ben.
Mr. Davidson,
No.
I vote, I want to make a motion to
No.
nominate Mr. Davidson.
No, I had a motion first.
Good.
Take your hands off of me. Don't
Why do you ignore me?
Don't,
You know that's battery,
Take
don't you?
your hands off of me. Don't you ever put your hands on me. Thank you. Thank you. There'll be order.
Motion for Ralph Strong
Do we have a
as an
second?
alternate.
Do we have a second? No. Sorry, we don't have a second. Motion dropped.
Unbelievable.
I'm making a motion to appoint Alan Davidson as the second alternate for the planning board. Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you. Do we need discussion?
Same discussion as before.
Okay.
He's been vehemently opposed to the zoning ordinance, so that's ridiculous.
All right, so we have a vote, discussion over.
And does he own property?
I think the buyer was probably receiving a motion.
It's in here.
And did he buy the property for $1?
I don't know if that's any of your business, but.
Well, it seems that he doesn't have any property.
You stand corrected. Here's proof of ownership of parcel of land here in the town of Lake Santeetlah. It's what you asked for, it's what he did.
comment?
Point of information to call Jack.
Just let her read what she's reading, let her get her.
I would like to have a discussion, Jim. I don't think that from the meeting that we had last year in March, where there were like 97 people on, half of them said they wanted to keep zoning. The other half said that they would like to keep the zoning and that they would like to see some change made. Some people said they didn't want zoning at all. I think most people would like to have zoning, but it just needs to be a workable zoning. And I think that's the difference that, and we've had this discussion before, that it needs
I
to be
disagree with your
enforceable.
characterization of that meeting that
The meeting was in April,
Okay, and I went back and looked at all
April
the notes.
18th, the minutes don't state anything about people objecting to the expense of the zoning, which is what your statement, which was in the Graham Star, was that they objected to paying for it.
and that was never
Because
discussed.
what was being asked was for a full-time zoning administrator, and that we can't afford. And Connie and Ken came up with a perfect solution. So, yeah.
The zoning is working fine, except when they don't have a zoning administrator.
And we have a zoning
Now
administrator.
we do, but we've got a house that's been built in between that time. And that was a mistake.
We sure do.
But there's,
Mistake. That's nothing the town did wrong, there's nothing the town can do. So we're not
yeah,
going there with this. This is a budget, did we pass the budget?
we passed the budget. And Jack has stated that he is not completely against zoning. Alan last week stated he is not against zoning, last meeting, whenever it was, that he is not against zoning. It's just that it needs to be workable. So having a couple of people as alternates that might have a different idea, that may try and make it workable for our town is not a bad thing, I don't think. So that's why I say yes.
Well, the
to
ordinance
Graham.
was based on requirements by the state statute. We had a real zoning attorney work with the planning board on that.
We have real attorneys working with us.
They are
now.
not zoning attorneys, nor are they municipal attorneys.
Bo, would you like to speak to that? Did you hear? Can he hear?
Yeah, he's asleep again.
Yeah, I'm here.
She says you're asleep again. Did you hear her?
There it is.
This is Diane questioning your abilities to be our town attorney.
No, just that he is not an expert on zoning, nor on municipal properties or towns.
Let's move on.
Okay, there's a motion on the table to appoint Alan to
Alan
the
Davidson,
second
yes.
alternate position.
I made that motion.
Yes.
Is it second? Ralph seconded it.
I believe.
We have discussion? Any more discussion? Let's vote. I vote yes.
Yes.
No,
No.
Motion passes 3-2. Congratulations, Mr. Davidson. Let's move on. You're welcome. Let's move on. The Edmonds Financial Program. You want to give us an update on how that's been progressing for you, Kim, please, and anybody else?
It's going really good. We're cleaning everything up like we mentioned when we were talking about the financial reports. We start training on Monday. We'll have training from 10 to 12. And then on Tuesday, we'll have training from 2:30 to 4:30. Wednesday, we have training from 10 to 12, and then from 1 to 4 on Wednesday for the water system. We will bill early this month in June. We bill out of the old system, and then Edmonds will come in and do a final draw of all of the billing that we've just done, and we'll go live with him, I think, on the 27th or the 28th of June, or no, they'll take that on the 27th or the 28th. We'll go live in July, probably after the 4th.
Okay, excellent, thank you. The update on the election board agreement, Bo, is there anything on that? I don't recall if you had gotten anything back from the county.
I have not. Jake Howard signed and returned it to me, but members and the Board of Elections have not signed it, so I don't know where that is.
Okay,
You want to buzz the county and see where that is, and see where they are not.
all right, thank you.
Before we move on, can I throw out something on
Yes.
this, about the election? Because in the budget this year, we had to budget $6,400. We are not in line with the county as far as municipal elections, and I don't know if it will save money, but if it would save money in the future to have our elections on the same year as Fontana and Robbinsville in the county, there might be a time in the future, I'm not saying this time, but sometime in the future, is to have someone have a 3-year term or someone have a 1-year term. And, well, so that we can get on the same schedule with the county. If it would save us a few $1,000s, I don't know how much it would save us, something we'd have to look into. Do you know, Jim? Have you looked into this before?
Yeah, we discussed this before. We also discussed the possibility of going to 4-year terms instead of 2-year terms. That would save you a lot more money.
That'd save more money.
And if they coincide
But
on
if
the
we
general
don't-
elections or something.
If we stayed with the same, when the county had their elections every 2 years, do you know how much? Did they ever tell you how much it would cost then for us?
We had that discussion 2 or 3 years ago.
And that number changes every year, it's different numbers. But
Yeah.
it would be less money if we were to extend the time period and have the elections during once. Because when we can share the election with another town, then you're sharing the cost of the people working the election and everything leading up
It
to it.
would require a charter amendment, I think.
To change the terms,
Terms,
yes, to change the terms, but
Even on if we did a temporary, like a 1-year
I'm
term
not
or
sure.
a 3-year term?
why don't we
that's
look
temporary?
into that with our
Just,
legal team?
just to
and see.
save the money, I mean, we're set now for the 6,400, it's too late to do anything
Okay.
now, but for some point in the future, I think it would be something for somebody to look, to look into, to save, instead of every other year having to spend $6,000 for 20 people to vote, so,
Right.
it's a lot.
Can I move on to new business? Governing body resolution for League of Municipalities. I think Tina and Kim, you have been working with the League of Municipalities on that.
Yeah.
I think it's just a generic resolution just to allow us to become members of the league to join in the insurance pool for the short-term, long-term disability, dental insurance, vision insurance, and the
Life
life insurance.
So do we need a motion to pass this resolution? I'll make the motion, we pass the resolution, a governing body resolution for the town of Lake St. Clair for the League of Municipalities. Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you. Do I have a vote? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, that's passed.
And we just have to give this over to them as soon as possible so that the insurance can start on a time manner.
Okay, I'll sign it after the meeting. And then the water to and due from forgiveness from water account, general account from previous years, action needed. Do you want to explain that for us, Kim, please?
We have been carrying that due from water to general, 13,300 something. It's been in our audit, I think, for several years. I don't know exactly how long it's been there. I have no idea where it come from. I don't know if it's, I think it's probably something that was before I even started. But it's still showing up in our audit. And when we switched from QuickBooks to Edmunds, it pulled over into the Edmunds software. So Shannon has told us that we can vote to forgive that, or we can take the money from water and put it into general. And everybody knows water is a little tight and we don't need to do that. So I just thought it would be better if the council wanted to vote to forgive that, and then we can figure out how to get it off the books.
Do we have a resolution ready?
We do not.
We can't vote on it until we have it actually.
Well, we could vote to allow Connie to sign that, to forgive.
Let's make that motion. The motion would be for me to sign the document to allow the water.
Who will write that
I'll
resolution?
make that.
I'll get with both.
Okay.
What's the source of the funding?
It's
Where's it coming from, the 13,000?
No,
Reserves
it's,
or where?
no, it's
No,
not,
it's just
it
we're gonna
wouldn't be,
forgive it.
it just forgive it.
It's still an expense, I'm sorry. Talk to your accountant.
She's
have
the
to
one who
have-
suggested that we forgive it.
Forgiving is, excuse me for interrupting, but forgiving is an expense. It has to be funded somehow. You just don't create it out of thin air.
Well, it would be forgiven out of the water fund. I don't know as far as, it's not being carried on the books right now as a due to, it's not. It's being carried forward, almost like, I don't know, depreciation or something.
I don't want to be
almost.
argumentative, but from an accounting standpoint, it's an expense to wipe it off the books. It has to be a revenue source to match it. And if that's reserves in the general fund or whatever it is, before you rush into this vote, you ought to get your auditor to tell you exactly how to do this, because the way you're talking about is not right.
The auditor has instructed us to do it this way.
So you just want to invent
The audit, we'll
this.
talk to the auditor then, because she's the one that instructed us to clean this up and do this way. So we've done exactly what you just requested. Talk to the auditor, get the instructions and do it the correct way, and that's
For
exactly
the
what we're
record, I
doing.
think that's a cover-up of $13,000.
And then the auditor, you could approach the auditor at the
I'm not
next.
going to approach you.
Well,
It's up to you
it's
guys.
time-
we talked to the auditor, that's what she said to do.
It's been carried on the books, if you go back and look at the audit for the last umpteen years. It's changed a little bit over the years, but it's right around that
The reason it's
11,000,
carried on the books for
300,000.
many years is the water fund is always in trouble.
Well,
And
my
it's
understanding
always
was
short,
at one
and
point
it
it
always
was
gets
not.
loans from the general fund. That's why. So if you want to get rid of it, I don't have any problem with that. Just come up with the correct accounting.
And we will. Before it, I'm sure when we get to that point, Roger, that Shannon will instruct us how that has to
How
happen.
about the School of Government? Ask them how to do it,
Yep, we can do that too.
please. Thank you.
Can you make that transparent, Kim, so we all
Sure.
know what happened?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And Shannon is a government accountant.
That's why we
That's
hired
what she
her.
does. So she has seen these before, she knows what she's talking about and what she's doing. It's been sitting on the books. If we don't forgive it, we should start paying it back. So something should happen with it. It shouldn't just continue to carry for the next 20 years. And the water fund cannot pay back. It doesn't have 11,000 or 13,000 to pay back. So unless we want to pay $100 a year for the next.
Just make it a donation from the general fund as an expense, and then you take that money out of reserve.
That would be illegal.
No more public comment, please. We're done with the comments and
It's,
we follow the instructions of our auditor and go from there. Thank you. The next thing on the agenda.
do we vote?
Yeah, we did, did we go?
No,
Okay,
no.
so we'll get a resolution drawn up, we need to make a vote that I would sign. I make that
And we
motion.
will follow our accountant's instruction on how to do that the proper way.
Good, thank you. Do I have a second for that motion?
I second.
We have a vote, aye?
Yeah.
Yes?
I'll
Yes?
vote yes.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Let's move on. The adoption of the new rules of procedure for city council. This is the book we need to follow. We ran into a little bit of a problem. These are on order, they should be here any day. This is what we have technically been following, but nobody has had these books because they weren't available.
That's the old one, right?
This is,
No,
this
that's,
is new.
that's the one that
We
we're
have
gonna
more
do.
coming,
Yeah,
but
and I
they
have
weren't-
ordered everybody a copy and one extra.
Right.
Yeah.
So
And
what's
then
gonna
remain
happen?
the property of the town, right?
That would be good, everybody would bring, and if you wanted to, or check it out and bring it back, however y'all want to handle that.
Okay, we can do it that way. But we need to adopt the new rules, so I make a motion, we adopt the suggested rules of procedure for city council, the 4th edition, it's 2017. Can I have a second? Thank you. Vote, discussion?
I'd like to see what it says first, and I can't read it here in the meeting.
It's basically a combination of the general statutes and Robert's Rule of Order. So that's kind of.
Our town has been following this book
Yeah.
Just-
for years.
Just an earlier
It's
edition.
just a newer
That's
edition.
the old guy.
And it's on the account.
Roger, already has
Okay, are we still discussing?
I'm sure it'd be fine.
Can I have a vote to pass or to vote on it? Yes?
Yeah, I'll vote
Yes.
yes.
Yes, thank you. The next thing would be the budget amendments for 22-23. review. Budget amendments are here.
I think everybody saw the one, the big one, and that is cleaning up everything, the way that it transferred over from QuickBooks into the admins.
This one, budget amendment.
We reduced the consumption charge by $15,000 to bring that down to $18,000. We took all the increases in the general fund from danger tree removal. We haven't had to take any trees down, and this year, hopefully, we don't have anything in the next few days. And then from the water fund, we took the money from capital outlay. I do have an addition that y'all don't have, and it is for all insurance. I'm gonna charge to all the insurance for the town council. I'm taking it from continuing education. It's for $500. I don't know if y'all remember when we had the last water main break, right there at the end, where you turn up to go.
Our Christmas
Yeah.
break.
Yes. We had to file a claim, on that for a Michael Colt because it washed out some of his,
Terraces.
yeah, I don't know what all, did some of his landscaping, and so we just have evidently paid out, the insurance company paid out $7,000, I'll let y'all see this. And our deductible is $500, so I'm gonna have to pay $500 for that.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what that's for. And I did ask him, there's an email attached to that that says who it was for and how much it was for. Because when I got it, I'm sure that's what it was, but I just wanted something in writing that stated that it was the insurance.
Did the insurance pay him or did they pay a contractor?
I think, he says to Michael Colt, but I'm not sure if they paid it to the contractor or if they paid it directly.
He's looked it up.
Has he?
Okay, so we have on the table now the budget amendments. Are they, have we made a motion to pass it with the adapt? You want to change?
Well,
One
I
thing
just,
The 500.
You added, so
I
that's
just
the
added,
change.
I just did an additional one because I'd already.
I see, okay, that's what that
Y'all
is.
had already, I got this after I
That's
sent,
what that is.
yeah, I got that bill after I'd already done that and sent that out to all you guys. So I thought it'd be easier just to do another one and explain.
Thank you. Okay, can I have a motion then to pass these two resolutions and budget amendments?
So
No, thank you. Second, thank you. Ralph Mitchell seconds. Okay. Vote, yes? Aye, all in favor? Thank you. Budget amendments are passed. Final public comment. Is there anybody who'd like to have anything to say? We got Jeff, we have anybody else who'd like to say anything?
Kevin, did you get Kevin?
No, is there, who else wants to speak?
Jack can go first.
Anybody on Zoom?
Would anybody on
I'll
Zoom?
say I'll make a brief comment.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
Anyone else? All right, we have a list going.
Everybody. Anybody else?
Thank you. Okay, Jack, you want to start?
Yeah, with regards to where that water leak was and stuff, if I'm not mistaken, and you should look into this, I believe that there was an old access point.
Culvert.
Huh?
There's a culvert there.
Well, it's an access point to the lake too.
That was one of the original.
Yeah.
That was one of the originals, the town never did sell that
It's
one.
still town
So we need to make sure that those terraces or whatever weren't actually over on town property. So we might need to survey that town property, so we know exactly where it is, because that leak is gonna happen again. Scott and I and everybody have already discussed it. There's no truss block there, and there's a T-fitting with a pipe coming down.
We didn't put a block in?
No, you can't because there's nothing there.
There's nothing to hold it. There's no
So,
reinforcement.
like I said, just something to consider, having that thing surveyed, because that is an access point.
So then it would be the town's expense.
Yes,
Is there another?
but we might not have to file
Or
another
does he have
insurance
to
claim.
deed that rock, deed it to the two houses?
No, I don't think it's enough.
Well,
That's a big deal.
He wanted to have a long time ago.
yeah. I think
So,
that,
did some other people.
Gatewoods were there.
yeah, I think Scott looked at that and he felt like that it, was on his property. Well, the way it
But anyways, just consider it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Is anybody else who's next? Kevin?
Kevin?
Go ahead, Mr. Haig.
I wanted to
Yes,
request
for
that
the
the,
record, his name.
Mr. Kennedy, sorry.
Thank you.
Wanted to request that the town make a provision for some funds to continue the planting of flowers and upkeep of our front entry and our manure park and possibly other areas that are, it's not currently in the budget. And I believe it's been funded in the past through the TPOA.
Yeah, TDA.
TDA, yeah, and I don't believe we're getting funds from the TDA anymore.
There is
so-
somebody in there for beautification.
And that's what it's for.
There is
There is
money
money
for
in there.
But is there ongoing funds coming?
It has been.
That's $300 in the past.
How much
Was
do we
that
get?
for both
Well,
parks?
we did, if you notice in the budget amendment that you just signed, we did $500 extra to beautification for the mulch.
Okay.
So.
Well, that was mulch, I knew
Yeah.
mulch is paid
And
for.
then, I don't know, we've always had the beautification as long as I've been.
So it's already in there. Thank you.
Well, I just need to know if I need to take it out of TDA budget.
Yeah, I
And
think
you
you've
guys are
been,
gonna take over
yeah, I think you've been
landscaping.
funding part of it, or did
I've been-
TDA?
funding all the plants.
You did at the beginning, yeah.
Well, I funded them this year too.
Yeah.
So that brings up a question,
I think
could,
that I paid a check to,
yeah, for some
Yeah, from
material?
TDA?
no,
Oh, it should have been from TDA.
yeah, I heard it from the town.
All right, give it back.
Who's next?
Okay, was it done?
Are you finished?
Well, the question was, could some of that money also be used to do this terracing down this slope and things, you know, other areas around the town obviously need some attention. So I just didn't know if we have enough in that fund to allocate for other things, or whether we just have a very finite amount of money.
I think that Ara has done the majority of that in the past.
She's worked
and
really
she-
hard at
Yeah,
that,
she
yeah.
usually did the front
But I
entrance.
do with my money, my
Yeah.
own money, I don't
Yeah.
ask for money.
Yeah,
She's done,
Well, for
I don't know if y'all
donation, yeah.
noticed, in front of the town hall.
As a matter of fact, this might be the perfect time.
Also, are in your park,
okay.
yeah.
No.
Is-
I know this isn't on the agenda, but this is for Miss Ora. I want to thank you
What for?
For all her
for all
I
the
don't do
hard
nothing.
work that you
I
have
never do
done,
nothing.
everything that you
Thank you.
planned to do.
There you go, Laura. Good job, Laura.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ora. Okay, who's next? Go ahead, sir.
A suggestion regarding the two appointments that were made to the planning board and also the zoning adjustment board. Perhaps you should request some legal advice as to whether, one, they can participate before they take the ethics class. Two, what is the limitation on a alternate, because this subject came up once before, and the alternate only participates in the meeting in any way, shape, or form if they're in a seat. In other words, if somebody is gone, and I think you need to continue to follow that procedure. No, that's been checked out. I see the town administrator shaking her head yes.
Yeah, I don't think they can vote, not as an alternate.
But they could sit in on discussion.
I'm not
Yes,
sure of
they
that.
are. Yes, they are.
Yes.
Anyways, those details will come out when
Well, do
we
you
look at
do
our new
anything
book.
when somebody from the floor in public comment asks you to do something? Do you just let it go into outer space? Is it in the minutes? What do you do?
But as far as the zoning, that, if you look under section 160D, it's very detailed in the general statutes of what the alternate planning board can do, what the planning board can do. And it says in there that when they're allowed to vote and when they're allowed to participate. So we should follow the general statutes. So,
I wasn't talking about voting, I was talking about participating in the meeting. And that
that's in
came
the
up
general
once
statutes.
already, a decision was reached and corrected when that happened by accident. I don't think anything happened. So you really need to get some advice on what the alternates can do during these meetings if they're not sitting in a seat because somebody is absent. That's where you need some advice.
Are you asking, can they be there, or
No, they can be there, of course they can be there.
what are you,
But the question is,
can they ask questions or participate in the meeting? Is that what you're wanting to know?
one vote, which we know they can't.
Yeah.
And
There's times
two,
that they can, Roger, there's times that they can vote, the alternate. According to the North Carolina General Statutes, there's times that the alternate is allowed to vote.
when,
Well, it's in the general statutes, I don't have them with me, but if you were to look under section 160D and just do a control find for alternate member, it'll say when they're allowed to vote. So if a member is absent and
I'm
that
sorry.
alternate steps in,
not to
there's
interrupt,
times
but is that your opinion or your attorney's opinion?
I have read it with my own eyes. If you read that section, you'll see that it says the alternate can vote, and then it'll say during these times, or the alternate can participate during these times. So, and there has been discussion with the attorney. But he's, I'm sure, reading that, plus court cases and everything else that I'm not reading, so.
We'll see.
Okay, we'll
I
work
think
out
the
the.
chairperson will be able to handle that.
Yeah, I'm quite sure, and I'm quite thinking that the planning board, the people on the planning board now will work very well and try to be very professional and carry on meetings the way they should and take all the personal animosities out of everything. So I'm hoping, I'd love to see the next meeting. I can't wait to see everybody sitting at the table and behaving and doing it the way they should, professionally and clear and through the rules. So thank you. We can move on. We have any more public comment?
Alan?
Yeah, Vivi wanted something.
Yeah,
I'm
thank
sorry.
you. I just wanted to reiterate that, as I've said for many months, the zoning ordinance is, needs to be cleaned up. I'm sorry that hurts some people's feelings, but it does because it treats, there's two classes of homes, two classes of properties in the zoning ordinance, the way they're classified, non-conforming and conforming. Non-conforming homes are treated as second-class properties, and the conforming, are just treated normally. That's why I am put and allowed myself to be put forth as a candidate to serve on the board because I want to help the town really fix that issue because that's a major issue. I'm sorry if it hurts some people's feelings, but it's more important to fix it and move on. If trying to keep me from serving on the board, there was very literal interpretation of the ordinance that was argued, rightfully so, that I was technically not a property owner. Well, that's been rectified, and I am a property owner, so I'm on equal footing with everybody else in the town. I wish that same degree of literal interpretation of the zoning ordinance was applied to other parts of the zoning ordinance. The parts that I have been magnifying and focusing on, but maybe that'll begin to happen. I hope so with my involvement with the zoning. Anyway, thank you for the time.
Thank you, Alan. Is there anybody, Vivi, your turn, please.
Hi.
Hi.
I don't know if this goes now or just what, but I had a couple of things that I was hoping Scott would be here.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, me too. The boat coming down the hill
Yeah.
is
You're talking
destroyed.
about that
In Lakeside?
in Lakeside?
Yeah, on our side, going up the hill, we're on Little Falls and go. Somebody has come through there and just not, I got pictures of it for you, Kim.
Okay.
So
I was
it's
down
gotta be
there
fixed.
yesterday. When did this happen?
It must have been today sometime, I
Okay.
don't know, because I didn't see it either.
Did it come, has it come up?
I'll show you.
Okay.
But you need to get that
Okay.
fixed. I kicked it back under, so when he came to get me, we got tire on those big nuts,
Oh,
bolts, whatever they are.
I see what's.
Yeah. The second thing is I noticed you were gonna say yay part to your face.
Yeah, that's on.
Yeah.
I know that Chris and Jim had talked, my husband, Chris, and Jim had talked about Chris being willing to try to help us get
Better internet service? I'd love to work with him, yes. Please,
somebody
have him
needs
come
to-
call me.
Yeah,
When
he's
he's
out there,
I don't know
everybody just
when he's
was
here. I'd be happy to work with him on that. That's
That's
wonderful.
pretty much what happened,
Let's
yeah.
see what happens.
So if y'all reach out to him, I'm sure that he would probably,
I'd love to. In fact, I have sent him an email. I attended a thing put on by Senator Corbin, and it was over in Franklin, and he put together that, yeah, and I
Well, he
had
also
contacted
knows
your husband afterwards and said I have some
$30,000 is
ideas.
nothing.
What?
The 30,000, 30-some-odd thousand, I think it came down to that you told me, it wouldn't do nothing.
Yeah,
It
I
would,
there's
it
more
would not come
issues.
to municipal.
Right.
It only came to the county.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some
So,
issues, and
it
then
was
also
just-
the other, yeah, but I'd love to
so
talk to your
badly,
husband.
Yeah.
Yes, please
So
have
that was,
contact.
that was my two things.
Thank you, I appreciate that, it's wonderful.
Diana?
I just wanted to say that, a couple things, the Tourism Development Authority is having their budget public hearing, or public hearing for budget on June 21st at 3 o'clock here in Town Hall. And also, Graham County is celebrating the azaleas in the next couple weeks. So there's all kinds of things going on. There's a concert, I think, at Stokoa
There's a
Saturday.
There's a concert.
Sunday.
There's something Saturday too, right? At the school?
Cigar
Yes, the cigar box, yeah.
Okay,
All kinds of
that's what I'm
activities.
thinking. There's just a whole lot going on. I think on Friday, they'll be having some tours of the azaleas. I think that they were kind of damaged from the bad weather that we had. But there's other plants there, and Kim Haynes would be really happy to lead people and show them about some of the other plants that are up there, so. At Hooper Ball.
Ball's off Skyway,
Yeah,
I'm giving a tour at 10 and at 2 on Saturday.
10 and 2 on Saturday, okay. I walked out without my card.
Is
Time.
there anything else that we need to, you wanted to discuss?
I think that's
Public
it.
comment? Okay, Jack, I think you were, sorry, Betty, go ahead, and then Jack, and then I think we're done with public comment.
I'm looking at those Zoom meetings. Can I call you back?
She's on the phone.
Betty, go ahead, please.
Notice she was speaking slowly to us.
Okay, I've got to announce, the welcome party for TPOA is the 17th of June at 5 p.m. at Chalet Village. And look for the flyers, food and drink will be provided. Bring your own chairs. And Scott called me today and asked permission to use my lot up there to temporarily set up the, what do you call this thing? The things that
Under
you
your
sit
awning.
under while you
Tarps.
Your tarps.
Yeah, only the frame. I think
That's
he's gonna
frame.
put the frame up and then,
Put the cover.
So that all the people who are helping
what we put on.
will
just put the
stand in
tent
it and then put the tarps over.
Right, like we did the last time, but
Yeah.
Scott's not gonna be able to be here to put the
Right.
fabric on.
So that's the 17th, remember Monday is the
And I
TPOA
think
meeting.
there were line dancing classes beforehand, so.
Are you teaching?
Yeah.
Kevin, not you, Kevin.
Debbie, are you, Kevin, let's. move
Do-si-do.
on. It's getting late.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jack?
Kevin,
I got a comment to follow up on the speed bumps that are at the bottom of Little Falls Trail. Those speed bumps are poorly placed. What's happening is people are coming down, hitting their brakes, and it will tear those speed bumps out every time. So they are poorly placed, and actually, when it tears it out and gets stuck in front of a skidding tire, he will end up in the island knocking that stone over. So you may want to consider replacing them someplace other than at the bottom of a hill. Thank you. Oh, yeah, and one other thing. Two things. There's one loose piece on the speed bump as
I asked
we
Scott to
enter
fix
town.
that already.
And I would like the council to consider a second mirror. The first one that looks down that way when you turn in works great. Coming up Nantahala Trail, many people can't spin their head enough to look backwards to see what's coming the other way. So if we could put
He
one,
wants another mirror.
if we could put another mirror on the planter area, looking back down that road.
Right.
Looking towards the campground,
Yes.
so when you look at it, it'll see
Right.
behind you.
Right.
Good idea.
But
It's kind of
just a thought. Thank
Would
you.
you look into the cost of that big mirror and see if we can get another one up there with an entrance angle just right to see oncoming
Place
traffic?
it where though?
off
Place it
of
on
Old
the island.
129 coming from the campground around that way.
If you're coming up Nantahala Trail, it's behind you.
Yeah,
So it would be on the island.
I'm
looking
sure
back.
Jack would be happy to get out there with Scott and talk about it in
Mhm.
person.
Okay.
All right, so the plans for the block party was under our discussion. It's already been announced, Saturday, June 17th at Ernie Manier Park. Thank you to Frontier for repairing the down lines. They finally got picked up. They got it in
Why
the
would you thank them?
6
It's been
months.
like that for a year.
Because they
months
came
and
out and
you're
did
horrible.
it. So I thank them for coming. Thank you.
So are there still some down
There
on
it is.
Santeetlah
Well,
Point?
all right, half a thank you.
Thank you.
Half a thank you.
Scott
And
sent
then-
me pictures today, I'll send them to you.
The next thing I want to announce is that Graham County offices are going to be closed July 3rd and 4th, and so our office is also going to be following that same schedule. So you guys get a 4-day weekend. Congratulations. Okay, and then the key for town hall. I'd like to have a discussion among council members. Would it be all right for us to have Betty Labou sign out for a key to come in and to be able to open the building to set up for the TPOA meetings? Do we
I'll
have a-
get you one made.
We don't need a motion, I just want everybody to, is there any discussion or anybody against the idea, let me know.
What
Okay.
happened to the trash?
Moving on, the next scheduled, okay, before I go with the announcements, the next scheduled meeting is July 13th at 5:30 PM, both town hall and on Zoom. The Graham County Heritage Festival, I am actually the vice chair on this, so I'm helping to put this together. It's the 3rd and 4th of July, it's downtown Robbinsville, and it's a big event. We should have almost, maybe have 5,000 people coming to this, so I'm excited about this. Over 100 vendors, all kinds of activities. So we're pulling this together, it's gonna be good. The first responders meet and greet. Last year we did this, it kind of worked out really well. I'm really proud of the food and everybody's participation. I want to do it again. It's going to be a fundraiser for the firefighters, the local volunteer firefighters. Even though our budget allows some money to go to taking maintenance on the truck and getting the repairs for things they need, this is going to be just a little bonus. I know that my husband Jack will graciously probably do the food again. And we'll set up the tents, we'll have the firemen come, set up their trucks and open everything up. The kids can come, climb on the trucks, ring the bell. It's a lot of fun.
And you're holding this where?
I am down at Ernie Manier Park in front of your house, so thank you. Either the what?
Under my carport.
If I can, I'll talk to you.
It's
This
not-
is
Connie,
gonna
it's
be an
not
honor.
just for the kids to ring the bell.
Well, you can ring the bell.
Some
If
adults
you
do.
behave at the meeting, I'll let you ring
Some
the
adults
bell.
do that.
If you behave, I'll let you ring the bell.
I will humble myself out.
Okay, I have 3 dates that I have looked on the calendar, either the August 17th, 24th, or 31st. What I want to do is offer to the firefighters what their best day would be. It's well, those 3 Thursdays. And Thursdays in August, their meetings are on Thursday, so everybody's in town to go to their meetings. So if we do this again at 5 o'clock, have dinner,
I think the 31st would be too close to
too
Labor
close to
Day.
September.
That's what I
Okay,
just looked at.
so let's.
And I think TPOA
No,
is
that's a
gonna
week
have an
ahead.
end of year party with the band, and so.
And that
maybe
is in
we should check
September?
and see when the band is available. No, well, I
This
don't
is
know if that'll be
before the-
September or August. Last year,
It was
they
September.
had problems.
This is the barbecue I am doing for the firefighters, and it's gonna be either the 17th of August or the 24th, which is a Thursday.
Well,
So
find
TPO
out from
has-
TPOA if they have got
Connie,
their
it worked out well
plans.
last year.
Thank you, thank you. And if TPOA has some, they usually do it on a Saturday. This is a Thursday, so I don't see a problem.
Okay.
I was wondering how the
Okay,
new
we done?
building's coming down there. What's the
I
time
don't know.
schedule on that?
That's not my department, I mean,
They
I'm
got
not
the,
gonna
they
do
got the
that.
base, well,
think they
3/4
have-
of the base framing up.
Yeah, I didn't know if they were planning to have it done in a few months or.
Oh, no,
You
less
know,
than that.
it should be done in hopefully a few weeks.
I think
I
Scott
they're-
mentioned, there's a
yeah, I think
company
they're-
out of Texas that came in, brought a crew, and they're working this. I don't know if there's problems or why it's delayed, but it looks like it's.
I think they're waiting on another load of materials.
It's possible. Anything can happen. All right, so is that it? Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting, please?
So moved.
Thank you.
A second.
Everybody?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
I got BBS.